Renato Moicano and Arman Tsarukyan sets as the April 29th main event in the lightweight division. 5 rounds of amazing high-level action. The number 8 contender, Arman Tsarukyan, and then the number 13 contender, Renato Moicano, which means Arman is going below the rankings. He just beat Damir Ismagulov, and now is going even lower to fight Renato Moicano. Absolutely insane. I do believe he wins the fight, though. Arman Tsarukyan is the better wrestler. He is the better grappler. He is the better striker. I believe all around, Arman Tsarukyan is just the much better fighter. But we got main event Money Moicano in the building. I hope Money Moicano gets the dub. That'd be absolutely insane. Putting him in the top 10, potentially to fight Michael Chandler, Beneil Dariush, Poirier, Oliveira. I mean, there's some huge fights for him. Either way, there's some huge fights for the winner of Moicano versus Tsarukyan. But I got Tsarukyan. Let's go with the late finish. Let's go Arman Tsarukyan, round 3 or round 4 finish. Put your thoughts down below. Who do you think wins and why? It's a good fight. Marvin Vettori and Roman Dolidze is going to happen this weekend in a pretty high-ranked fight in the middleweight division. Roman said if he's able to win against Marvin Vettori, he would deserve the title shot against the winner of Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya. I disagree. Robert Whittaker already beat Marvin Vettori, so Roman Dolidze should fight Robert Whittaker. What do y'all think? What do y'all think about that, though? Does Roman deserve the title shot, or should he fight one more guy? Maybe Jerry Cannonier, Robert Whittaker, or someone else in the middleweight division? Should he win? I don't think he wins, but put your thoughts down below. UFC 290 main card, International Fight Week. We already know. Dana said it, Jones has said it, Stipe have said it. They all want this as the main event. Jones versus Miocic, UFC 290 main event. That's going to happen. Unless some crazy happens, that is going to be the main event of UFC 290. Volkanovski Rodriguez is already being sent contracts to both of those guys as the co-main events of that UFC pay-per-view, so I do believe that is what's going to happen. It is verbally agreed, and they're about to get signed. That'll be a good fight for the card. We got Ferguson versus Lee, a former interim title championship fight where Ferguson won. That'll be a good one on that card as well. Topuria versus Evloev is also verbally agreed and in the works. None of those two fights are actually official, just like Bo Nickel and Tresean Gore, but those are all potential fights to happen at UFC 290 on the main card. Maybe one of them will move to the prelims, but you never know. What do y'all think about this potential UFC 290 main card? Jones, Miocic, Volkanovski, Rodriguez, Ferguson, Lee, Topuria, Evloev, and Nickel Gore. Put your thoughts down below. Personally, that's a gosh dang banger. Mohamed Mokaev reveals his plan to become the youngest UFC champion in UFC history. Now, this is the plan. Let's click on this link. He says he's going to go out and beat Rafael Filho at UFC 286, Edwards versus Usman. It's obviously the first step in the kind of plan to become the youngest UFC champion. Then he wants to beat a ranked opponent at UFC 290 later this year on International Fight Week. Then fight on the Abu Dhabi card, which is rumored to be in August or October or September, one of those months later this year as well, and is most likely to be a headline with Islam Makhachev and Beneil Dariush, or Islam versus someone else, maybe Rafael Fizzier. He wants to be on that card and fight a ranked opponent, then fight in a title eliminator fight, maybe Kai Kara France, Mateusz Nicolau, Alexandre Pantoja, whoever the case may be, and then fight for the title before March of 2024. Do you guys believe the undefeated 8-0 pro, 23-0 amateur Mohamed Mokaev will become UFC champ? Marvin Vettori still has his eye on another belt inside of the UFC. He said, I'm still running after the title. Don't get me wrong. Don't count me out. I'm still in the top 5. I'm one of the youngest inside of this division, and I'm coming for everything. I already faced everybody in the division and can't wait to just put it on Roman Dolidze. I really want the finish, and we go from there. The man is only 29 years old. Do you believe he has another run at the title in him? He is one of the youngest guys in the division, behind only, who was it? Dricko Du Plessis, Nasruddin Imavov, and I believe one other guy, but he's top 3 on youngest fighters inside of the division, and he's very high. The only 20-year-old fighter that is inside of the top 5, so it's very likely, very possible, he could work his way up to another title fight. Well, who do you think he wins this Saturday against Roman Dolidze? And does he fight for the belt? And does he win for the belt? Put your thoughts down below. Islam Makhachev not going to be fighting for a little while now, as he's going to be taking a little break, as the UFC told him to take a little bit of a break, because they want him on Abu Dhabi card later this year after the summer, which means August, September, October of 2024. It is currently March. We still have March, April, May, June, July, August. 5, 6, or 7 months until a potential return for Islam Makhachev in the UFC's lightweight division. But I'd have to say it does make sense, as we still have Beneil Dariush fighting later on this year against Charles Oliveira, and he definitely deserves a title shot if he is able to win that fight. Rafael Fizzier, if he beats Justin Gaethje, he's going to be very close in line for a title fight as well, and he's fighting this weekend. So you got to give those guys time for them to actually fight for the belt later this year, and that does make sense for an Abu Dhabi card in August or September. It's probably going to be the main event, but who do y'all think it's going to be? Islam versus Rafael Fizzier, Islam versus Beneil Dariush, or possibly some other contender we don't even know about? Put your thoughts down below. Darren Till and Logan Paul fight is being rumored for later this year as a boxing match. Darren Till, as we heard, recently left the UFC to have a few boxing fights. A BKFC fight with Mike Perry as well, possibly. He has been looking at that as a potential avenue as a future fight outside of the UFC. But one of the most recent things to come of Darren Till's departure with the UFC was a potential match with Logan Paul. Later this year, Logan Paul lost to KSI, and then he had that loss to Floyd Mayweather. Now, he wants to fight a very, very legit boxer in the UFC, and Darren Till, at 30 years old, who beat Kelvin Gastelum, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, knocked out Donald Cerrone, and got many other very solid wins on the regional scene. Personally, come on guys, I think Darren Till would get the win. But what do y'all think? If this fight gets made, who wins? And do you actually think the fight's going to get made? Darren Till, Logan Paul, put your thoughts down below. Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fizzier to be the fight of the year, according to Justin Gaethje. Come on, guys. Is that even a question of this fight in contention to be fight of the year? For sure. I believe this is going to be a 3-round absolute back and forth freaking war in the lightweight division. Michael Chandler fight was an absolute banger. The Tony Ferguson fight, even the fights he's winning early on in round number 1 are absolute freaking bangers. Even the Charles Oliveira loss that he ended up losing just 3 minutes in, that was a banger. I mean, no matter how long this fight goes, it is 100% going to be in contention for best fight of the year, if not at least best fight of the month of March. What do y'all think? Is Justin Gaethje, Rafael Fizzier the fight of the year? Put your thoughts down below. Darren Till says he will fight Mike Perry if the BKFC gives him an astronomical offer. He will go over and fight bare knuckle against the greatest African mixed martial arts and bare knuckle fighter the world has ever seen in Mike freaking Perry. And my gosh, do I want to see that fight, because Mike Perry just beat Michael Venom Page in a BKFC fight, and Michael Venom Page is a very, very legit striker. So is Darren Till. I really want to see this fight. Darren Till, Mike Perry in bare knuckle boxing. Who wins? Put your thoughts down below. Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa In the middleweight division, Strickland is getting fed up with Paulo Costa not signing his final UFC fight on the contract against Sean Strickland. I mean, Paulo's calling out Hamzat. I mean, he's calling out so many random people, but he still has that one fight left on his contract. He's got to accept the fight soon if he wants to get out of the UFC, go over to boxing, fight Logan Paul, Jake Paul, whoever wants to fight outside the UFC, even go to the PFL if he wants. He needs one more fight in the UFC, and Sean Strickland wants it. And I want it. Sean Strickland, Paulo Costa, main event of a UFC fight night would be an absolute banger. 5 rounds. I mean, the trash talk would be good. The press conference would be good. I like the sound of this fight, but what do y'all think? Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa. Should the fight get made? And who wins? Put your thoughts down below. I think Sean Strickland. I think Sean would win a very close decision. It is a close fight, though. Put your thoughts down below. Tim Elliot and Allan Nascimento in the UFC's flyweight division. If we go on to the UFC rankings, it's just got announced, I believe, for June 3rd's UFC fight nights. Right now, Tim Elliott is at number 11 on the rankings, and Allan Nascimento should probably be ranked inside of the top 15, but he isn't, because I think he's actually going to win this fight against Tim Elliott by a decision, but it is a solid one. Tim Elliott, a veteran of the UFC's flyweight division, has been in for such a long time, and Allan Nascimento, a good up-and-comer, looking to build his name in this division. I think Allan Nascimento keeps the striking even, lands a few takedowns, lands a few harder shots here and there, and squeaks out a very close 29-28 decision. Very close fight. Who do y'all think wins and how? Put your thoughts down below. Liang and Brogan Walker was set for Marlon Chilo Vera, Corey Sandhagen UFC fight night, but Liang has withdrew from the UFC fight night for, I'm not really too for what reasons she has withdrawn from the fight. Not too sure if Brogan Walker is going to get a replacement as of right now. We'll probably hear about that in the next coming days. But as of right now, this fight is off the card. Now we are set with 14 fights at UFC Fight Night, Vera versus Sandhagen. I had Brogan Walker winning that fight inside the distance. But put your thoughts down below on who would have won and who should replace Liang if they do replace her. Put your thoughts down below. Marvin Vettori, who's fighting Roman Dolidze later this weekend in a fight I think he wins by decision, predicted Alex Pereira, Israel Adesanya quadrilogy, the 4th fight. And he says Vettori said he has Alex winning easier than he did in the past 3 fights. He KO'd him twice and got a decision in the other one. Marvin Vettori thinks this is going to be the easiest win against Israel Adesanya for Alex Pereira to date. Put your thoughts down below. Do you agree with Marvin Vettori? Does Pereira again be the underdog and win against Israel Adesanya? Put your thoughts down below. Leon Edwards plans to retire Kamaru Usman this weekend in the main event of UFC 286. He said he's going to open the door to retirement for Kamaru Usman, KOing him. And at that point, if Usman does get KO'd, does get submitted, does get finished, what else is there? He's going to have to work himself back up, win 1 fight, win 2 fights, and then maybe get another title fight. He might never get a title fight again, so honestly, if he does lose against Leon Edwards, he might actually have to retire. So I would agree, if Leon Edwards wins, I believe Kamaru Usman will retire from MMA. Well, what do y'all think? Does Usman retire should he lose? But does he actually lose? I don't think so. Put your thoughts down below. Jasmine Jasudavicius and Miranda Maverick in the flyweight division just got announced for UFC 289 as the only fight at UFC 289 on June 10th. Personally, it's going to be a close fight. Miranda is younger. She is more experienced, coming off of 2 wins on Shayna Young and Sabina Mazo, where she looked very good in both fights. did lose to Macy Barber as well as Erin Blanchfield, but you gotta think the Macy Barber fight was a little bit of a robbery, and then the Erin Blanchfield fight, again, she lost a decision to Erin Blanchfield, who after that win over Miranda Maverick, just absolutely destroyed and got a submission over JJ Aldrich, got the submission on Molly McCann, and got the submission on Jessica Andrade, showing just how good Miranda Maverick is, leading me to believe that Miranda should keep this one very even on the feet and out-wrestle Jasmine to a most likely Miranda Maverick unanimous decision. Put your predictions down below. It's a good fight, though. Emily Ducote and Polyana Viana is going to be scheduled for April 29th UFC Fight Night via AG Fights. And Big Marcel, personally, the grappling leans towards Polyana Viana, the power leans Polyana, the kicking game leans Emily Ducote. Should be a close back and forth battle between these two girls. And I'm going to lean Polyana Viana to edge it out with a 29-28 decision. But what do y'all think about the number 14th ranked Emily Ducote in this UFC division? And what do y'all think? Who wins this fight and why? Put your thoughts down below. Was she number 14? Or am I wrong about that one? I thought she was at one point, but I guess they moved her out of the UFC rankings. Never mind, they're both unranked now in the UFC. Polyana Viana's not ranked either, so maybe the winner of this fight could get an opportunity to fight inside that top 15. I lean Polyana Viana, but put your thoughts down below.